Welcome, Heaven and Simon. Welcome to both of you. Hello, hello. All right, so, hi, Lou Poirier Armstrong. How are you today? We're gonna actually start right now, so to avoid losing any more time, I'm trying to find the perfect position. I'm sorry for that. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about Neon Genesis Evangelion. So first thing first, welcome Maxime Landry, welcome. So first thing, welcome Marc-André Sauvé, welcome to the live stream about Evangelion. Evangelion is for me one of the anime I watched like when I was a child, you know. But at that time I was like maybe barely 5 years old, so I personally did not really understand the plot of Evangelion. I thought it was just some crazy big robots fighting, and it was very cool because of that. Welcome to the live stream, Guillaume Mercier. Welcome Jesse Provost. Welcome to you. Because Evangelion is actually an anime that was released originally in 95, which is the same year I was born in. So for the sake of it, I think it has some deep meaning to me and to the entire Otaku culture. Everyone that studies basically Japanese animation has this kind of desire to understand Evangelion, because for those who actually knows Evangelion, it's like such a weird anime. Sometimes it's such an epic anime in its own context. So without further ado, I'm going to show you some cool stuff today. So first things first, okay, here. What makes the difference between studying an anime and actually making an anime analysis is that when you analyze an anime, actually, or you do a review, you're going to do it mostly based on what you see as the audience. Basically, you're going to rate it, give it a grading, and basically give it, more or less the kind of glance that the mainstream audience is going to have. Welcome Patricia Senecal. Welcome. That's a very cool name. But the difference here is that we're going to actually study Evangelion today. So we're not going to make a review of its story. By the way, most of people who actually makes review or analysis of Evangelion only looks at the story. Like they basically look at the story and give their own opinion about it, their own interpretation. What we are doing today is not going to be giving opinion, giving impression. It's about observing things, and basically we're going to adopt a more academic approach to understanding Evangelion. So let's start. So first things first here. For those who did not watch Evangelion, here's the actual order here, if you are planning on watching it, because I'm going to probably make 2 or 3 parts of this live series about Evangelion. There's so many stuff to say. Welcome to the live, Maili Danohate. Welcome. So yeah, for those who did not watch, you should start with the Neon Genesis Evangelion, which is basically the original series made by Hideaki Anno. and then continue to the end of Evangelion, and then go to the reboot movie, sort of, which is called Rebuild of Evangelion, which is not really a reboot, but more like a new project. But I'm gonna talk about them actually over the span of my 3 lives. So it's going to be like, basically today we're only going to be talking about Neon Genesis Evangelion here, okay? And maybe at the last episode I'm going to go over Rebuild of Evangelion and explain why it is not such a bad series of movies that most viewers think they are. The main difference between making a review and studying an anime is that when you study the anime, you are going to put yourself in the shoes of the maker. So you are not looking at it from a viewer perspective, but from someone who just likes anime just as much as its own creator. Welcome, Alexandra Godet-Julien. Welcome to you. So yeah, let's start. So before we can talk about Evangelion, let me introduce its origins, okay? So everything starts with animation. Animation was created like around the same years as the Second World War. Oh, hi, Miley. I hope you're going to enjoy this. This is actually my 3rd live stream on anime subjects. Here you can recognize that the art style is basically Ghibli Studio. Okay, Ghibli Studio is basically the founding studio of Manga Eiga. So what is a Manga Eiga? Manga Eiga is basically just animation movies made in Japan, of course. Oh, yeah, thank you so much, because actually I'm really new into lives. I'm not as experienced as Amélie from our team or as David. So I actually try my best here to teach stuff. We have not introduced, I think I should maybe introduce myself then to the new people who don't know me. My name is Simon. I specialize in Asia studies, mostly in Japan, and one of my academic specialties is basically anime studies. I basically study anime on an academic level at the University of Montreal, and also East Asian politics, but that's like another subject entirely. So back to the subject, but thank you for supporting me. It's really important for me to do some good contents with those lives, so really thank you. So yeah, back to it. So Ghibli is basically, the origin of animation movies, and the founder of Ghibli, Hayao Miyazaki, is actually really important here because he has brought his own vision of animation to the world, and his student Hideaki Anno is going to be the father of Neon Genesis Evangelion, and that is very important because Hideaki Anno will not be as close to the genius he is today without Hayao Miyazaki teaching him. They have this kind of father-son and teacher-student relationship, and that you can see on many instances. Oh, welcome, Sebastian Duff. Hope you are going to enjoy our live today. So yeah, Hayao Miyazaki and Hideaki Anno are not from the same generation, so they don't share the same vision about the world, okay? What I mean by that is that Hayao Miyazaki do not like otaku culture, okay? He has a different way of looking at otaku than Hideaki Anno, because Hideaki Anno may be critical about otaku, but ultimately he likes the otaku culture, the anime culture. Welcome, Isabelle Normando. Welcome. But Hayao Miyazaki does not like the otaku culture. For what reason? Well, there's many of them, because he doesn't like the idea of fandoms, because fandoms create sequels. Fandoms are always asking for more and for more, and you can notice with Hayao Miyazaki's movies that in the vast majority of cases, when he's done with a movie, he does not make any sequel. He does not like the idea of sequel. That's only one of the many aspects of why Hayao Miyazaki does not like the otaku culture. And as such, Hayao Miyazaki is not likely to portray any otaku in his stories. While Hideaki Anno, actually, he kind of understands otaku, because he has felt this kind of feeling to be useless in society, to be doing nothing, to be a coward, to be running away from his responsibilities, like normal otaku and shotins. Shotins in Japanese is called hikikomori. These are basically the people who stays in their room their entire life and does not step outside. They don't have a job, they are not educated, they don't do nothing. And Hideaki Anno spent 4 years basically doing nothing in his own vision. Of course, he was not a shotin. He did step outside, he did look at life, but he can sort of understand people's life when it comes to otaku culture. And of course, he actually appreciates otaku, and he tried to show the good sides of otaku culture to Hayao Miyazaki many, many times. It does not really change. I don't think you can really convince your own mentor of something when he is the one who told you so many stuff. So it's just this kind of relationship. So Hideaki Anno looks like this. I don't have nothing much to say. Oh, yeah, also, while Hayao Miyazaki has his Ghibli studio, Hideaki Anno also has his own studio, which is Gainax. And Gainax is basically one of the giants in the anime making industry. By the way, guys, if you have any comments or question, or if you want to talk about something, or give advice for me, because I'm still new to lives. Don't hesitate to do it. This is supposed to be a discussion. This is supposed to be basically me and you interacting over this subject. I know I have some stuff to tell, but it's not the most important here. I think really it's important that you and me gets to talk to each other. So just write to me, and I'm going to see the comments right away, so I can bounce back on them and try to give you some answers if you want to know some specific stuff, or just ask me any questions. So yeah, just letting you see the image. So Gainax also gave birth to many smaller studios like Trigger, who are the people basically from the team that made Gurren Lagann, which is one of the another one of the big anime in the anime genre. What I define by animation is most of the time original animation, which means that those anime were not made to be just a manga series put into animation. Those were made to be animation. And this is the case of Gurren Lagann, Code Geass, and I don't know, many other series that I just can't name. But of course, Neon Genesis Evangelion is one of them. Welcome, Wasif Chaudhuri. I hope I'm not destroying your name. Sorry if I did. But yeah, hope you enjoy your time here. So yeah, of course, there was a manga of Neon Genesis Evangelion, but the manga was made based off the anime, not the opposite. They were released almost at the same time, but it was Hideaki Anno's idea, it was his design. So yeah. Welcome, Gwen Nael El Pihu. Hope you enjoy your time here. Hideaki Anno also made other stuff like the Shin Godzilla movie that maybe some of you have heard about, and the Evangelion 3.0. Sorry. So this is going to be our first point here. To welcome Hisha Bolduc. Welcome. So yeah, many of people actually have their own interpretation of Neon Genesis Evangelion. Okay, it's an anime that has such an open-ended kind of ending, so you can interpret it any way you want. And most of the people making anime analysis on it is going to only analyze the story. But the thing is, okay, its own universe was not finished by when the first episode was released. So this is not like very, like, you know, it's not like something that was taught about for 10 years and has so much depth that you can look into. It's more open to interpretation, which means that there are no good answers when it comes to understanding its ending. When you think about some other series, like maybe Star Wars or I don't know, even Gundam stuff, those are the kind of series that everything is explained, basically. They even found explanations for other stuff, because the human brain really hates to not have an explanation for something that fascinates it, like something that attracts our curiosity, you know, and does not provide the satisfying answer to us. That is maybe the most unsatisfying feeling we have. So of course everyone is going to establish their own version of the story. So here, this is a quote from Hideaki Anno himself in one of the interview before the release of the anime. So that he basically says that, I don't know what the result will be. That is, oh, hold on a second. Is it? Hold on a second. Wait, this is so weird. Can you guys tell me if you guys see reverse or not in this case? Because I'm unsure if you guys see it reversed. No, this should be reversed. Okay. Sorry guys, this okay, so right now this is reversed. This is okay. Okay, so okay, so this is normal, right? This is the normal. You guys see basically the normal sense of it. So yeah. Basically, it says, I don't know what the result will be. That is because within me, the story is not finished yet. Because actually, the original ending of Evangelion was just supposed to be basically a final battle with an army of aliens to protect Earth. Okay, that was about it. So we're not going to be looking into some deep theories of how Evangelion ended. That's not what we're going to do at all. Okay, so yeah, let's first introduce the character. Of course, this is only the first part. If you like it, please come to the next part. I'm going to hopefully be able to make 3 parts to it, because in the first part I have to introduce everything, so I cannot just jump straight to the story to more stuff, but we will be looking at the story soon. Okay, so those are the main characters. For those who wants to know, here is Shinji, here is Misato, here is Asuka, here is Shinji's father, here is Rei, and this is Ritsuko, who is not very important, but basically those 4 here are important characters. So yeah, the first character introduced is Rei. I don't show her face because you already see her face here. But basically, who is Rei? Rei is the unreal woman. Okay, is the unreal girl. At the beginning of the first episode, she briefly appears in Shinji's imagination, and this is very intriguing because this is so open to interpretation here. The fact that she briefly appears and then poof, suddenly disappears like that. When you think about Rei, of course, you could notice the fact that she's the only clone of the entire anime. I'm going to explain why she is the only one, what she represents in the next life. But this one so far, I think I don't have time to actually go through with it. But first, let's maybe take a look at Shinji himself. Okay, who is Shinji? Shinji is basically a character who is a representation of the otaku stereotype. This is something you have to keep in mind when you study Neon Genesis Evangelion, because Shinji has everything to do with how otaku react in social situation, especially the shut-in. This feeling to always want to run from every situation, this feeling to be useless, to be unnecessary to the world, that nobody wants you, this is how Shinji feels all the time. And this is actually how he feels in terms of social pressure too. You know, the same way Shinji has to fight angels, like not because he wants to or he cares about the world, but because someone, Misato in this case, tells him to do it. He does it to please someone else because he is asked to do it, and not because of his own motivation. And this is something very characteristic of the otaku population in Japan at that time, is their lack of motivation, of dreams, of self-accomplishment, you know. And the same way he feels about fighting angels can be translated into how otaku feels about having to do everyday normal work, actually, because he is always like retreated in his own comfort zone with his earplugs. And you know, for someone who has never done actual work, it's sometimes the same kind of pressure as for someone who has never fought angels. They feel like they have to succeed. If they don't succeed, everything is going to end. Exactly like how Shinji has to fight Angel. And if he loses, well, the world is ending. Everything is over. And that's something that's basically I found really interesting. I mean, I cannot say that this was Hideaki Anno's basic idea when he made this, but it's a personal observation here. Now, the secondary characters. There's actually 3 real characters because, like I said, Rei is the imaginary character, the unreal girl. So the 2 real girls here are Misato and Asuka. So Misato here and Asuka here. Okay, so what they represent, they actually represent other types of characters, of persons in the Japanese society, but in the eyes of Shinji. You have to keep in mind that this show has Shinji as the protagonist. Everything is from his own perspective. So who is Misato? Let's think. So Misato here is the older woman. She is extremely mature, and you can see from this plan alone that there's a lot of irony with the male gaze. Okay, so what is male gaze? Male gaze is basically when you put one female character in a bunny girl suit in an anime which is also called fan service, basically, and you give to the male audience what they want to see, basically extremely sexualized female characters, and Misato represents this kind of image that the otaku, because that's like their relationship with women, because they don't touch women, they see normal women everywhere, but they don't touch, they don't have contact with those women. They are kind of isolated onto their self. They are in their own bubble. And so when he goes to live with Misato in the first day, I think it's the second episode, well, he basically there's a plethora of scenes where you see Misato in some images that are intentionally made to have her sexuality be more shown than, of course, Shinji, which is kind of the shy boy in comparison. This is quite important because it translates into how the otaku sees women. They have this, culture of male gaze in Japan extremely. At that time, animation at that time was beginning to turn more and more adult. You can see some movies like Kanashimi no Belladonna, which is basically, such an adult movie. It's not explicit though, so you can still watch it and study the animation movement. Oh, welcome, Osamu. Welcome to you. But in this case, it's an irony because, welcome, Alexandra Tanguy. So yeah, in this case, male gaze is made with a big irony. Why? Because it is put in front of the image in such an obvious way. Like, it's not subtle. Usually fan service, like male gaze stuff, is made in such a subtle way. But this has nothing subtle. This is basically Hideaki Anno playing with the audience and showing them, you see, this is what you like to see, and now you're getting to see it, but in such an out of context, random situation. Welcome, Eric Girardin. Welcome. And so yeah, next and our final character is Asuka. So Asuka, for many people, Asuka is the first tsundere character from the anime, which is, in my opinion, not really the case, because she indeed has psychological problems, but the characters in Evangelion all have their own complex. They all have this issue with accepting how other people sees them in society, in normal life situation. But in the case of Asuka, by saying that she is a tsundere would be so degrading. Actually, it would be oversimplifying the character development that she has. She has so many problems, but most of all, her relationship with Shinji is one of superiority, and that, you have to keep it in mind, is also how otaku sees women of their own age. The fact that women of their own age, because otaku at that time was mainly for guys. Okay, there were barely any female otaku in Japan at that time, in the 90s. So at that time, otakus were seen by girls, and they were very conscious of it, that they were basically losers and they were worthless. And this is basically the first message Asuka sends when she comes in, is that, you guys, Shinji, you are like not exactly talented, you're unnecessary, basically. That's like one of the first indirect message she sends. She's here, she can do a better job than him, she's braver than him, she's seen as more of a normal person than him. All sorts of complex. Basically, this complex with Shinji's lack of any woman approach when it comes to Misato, and this complex with the fact that he feels like he is being looked down upon by girls his own age. Those are two of the stuff that are so regular for otakus. Oh, welcome Marie-Pierre Landry, welcome Geneviève, and welcome Leila. Welcome to all of you. So yeah, so now the characters are introduced. I'm going to go briefly over the animation. Okay, so let's go to the start. Okay, so Ghibli Studios, when it comes to their animation movies. Oh, welcome Daphne, welcome Osali. So Ghibli Studios, when it comes to their animations, they are trying to show the audience like the bigger picture. They want the audience to look at as many details as possible, at big pictures. You know, they are movies, they are made to be seen in details. You want to see so many stuff, you want to see great scenery, big plan, everything that is introduced, like for example the Hogwarts Castle. Hi Leila. Like Hogwarts Castle, or the town of ghosts in Spirited Away. All of those are first introduced to us with big scenes. What Gainax specialize in doing is actually the opposite. Instead of showing us the bigger picture, they are focusing on the small detail and pushing this animation to the limits by focusing on the small details, which in the end, oh, welcome John Stalbot. So yeah, by pushing the limits of the animation techniques, Gainax basically creates such fluid animations that we're going to see later. But basically, they use two techniques. First one is the use of blur. So as you can see here, the movements are purposely made to be very blurred. You know, see, because we want to show movements. We want to overcome the limits of animation at that time. Because if we were to show clear details in every single scene, the action would feel extremely slow. It would feel like the Gundam series of that time. It will not be violent and quick-paced as much as now. Hi, Cassandra. Welcome to our live. So, because of this desire to surpass the limits of animation at that time, we use blur to better translate motion, speed at which objects are moving. And one of the other techniques that they actually... Oh, welcome Sarah Amelia. Welcome. So yeah, using this motion, they are actually... And the other technique, the second one, oh, welcome Jocelyn. So the other techniques, apart from the blur, is movement prediction. Basically, instead of making one part of the body move at a time, they make all parts of the body move at once, which creates this animation that makes the fight scenes look so amazing. So now I'm going to actually be showing you guys a scene of the first episode, and then I'm going to show it entirely, and then I'm going to go back to it and comment on some parts. Let's go. I wanted to show you guys. Oh, wait. Okay. Wait, what is happening? Okay. So I'm going to use this at slower pace so you can actually see better what I'm talking about. Okay. You see all parts of his body. Actually, in this entire scene, we never see the bigger picture of, I think, Neo Tokyo here. Wait a second. Okay, this here. Can you see like it becomes a bit blurry before the leg actually comes down here? Wait, why is it suggesting me this? Okay, wait. You see, this blur helps actually make the animation so much faster paced. And of course, all parts of the body are moving. And wait, what the fuck? Sorry for the effort here. Okay, it's actually the so yeah, focus on that. You can see here that we also use a bit of blur when it comes to accelerating movement. You know, when he raises his hand, it's normal speed, and then when he sends down his hand, it becomes blurry again. And we're basically playing with the frame rates to create this kind of timing based. And throughout this entire scene, you know, usually when you have like kaiju or giants combat, like let's say Attack on Titan, okay, you have a lot of scene where you see human-sized stuff compared to the gigantic monsters, okay, the giants in the case of Attack on Titan. Well, in this case, you actually don't see that. You are not meant to actually look at what surrounds them, and this is one of the codes that one special person named Osamu Tezuka, maybe that name rings a bell to those who knows Astro Boy, but this is a code that Osamu Tezuka actually invented when he first began animation. This is the code of saying anything that does not have to be animated should not be animated. Oh, welcome, Yan. And this has been pushed to actually surpass the limits of animation in Evangelion. It was used to such an extent to capture the attention of the audience. And this is why actually after Neon Genesis Evangelion and other anime like let's say Dragon Ball Z, after those, the anime fight scenes are going to become much more enjoyable because the timing, the knowledge of how to properly set the timing for fight scenes has been kind of unlocked for the entire Japanese industry. So all the cool animation that you see today, well, when it comes to combat scenes, well, they came from there. You know, they came from somewhere. They did not just appear out of nowhere. Evangelion was basically the test ground for action scenes in animation. Yeah, yes, but make the audience question themselves when it comes to many things, but in such a subtle way. Welcome, Richard. And I'm gonna conclude today's episode on that idea, is that later on during my second or third life about Evangelion, we're going to be exploring about why rebuild of Evangelion is a kind of next step in his experimentation. You know, the 90s were filled with animation projects that are experimentations, that experiment on the viewers. Welcome, Mathieu. Genesis, and they, Hideaki Anno is a genius. He does not make animation for the sake of making it, and he certainly, he is the student of Hayao Miyazaki. Okay, you cannot study his work only based on the story and the universe he created. Of course, if he is the student of one of the founding fathers of Japanese animation, he has a love for the camera, for animation itself. So of course he is going to put some amazing stuff into the animation techniques. He is going to innovate, and I think Neon Genesis Evangelion is first and foremost about image and what the images means. Because in the end, the story, we cannot have a definitive answer when it comes to the story, because the story is built to have an to be open to interpretation, basically. But when it comes to the realization and the subcontext, the thematics, those stuff are like much easier to study and much more accurate to actually obtain answers from. These are core sure values when it comes to studying Evangelion. And so as a form of teaser to my next live about Evangelion, I'm going to show you a very cool image here. Okay, hold on. Okay, you see here many eyes, big eyes. That eyes is something that's very, very mysterious in Evangelion. You see big plans of images of eyes all the time. So what those eyes mean for Hideaki Anno? What does it means for Neon Genesis Evangelion? For those of you who want, you can try to look for it, or to just think for yourself why the eye is such a symbolic thing in Evangelion. Why it matters so much, why we see so many big plans of the eyes. And next time during our next live, I'm going to explain all of that, the symbolics of eyes, not only in Evangelion, but inside the other. Well, the eyes actually, yes, Laila, the eyes actually shows expression of the face, but the eye here in Evangelion is an object. It has its own meaning, independent of the characters themselves. The fact that we are using eyes so much in big, if you want to see expression, you can basically see the entire face. Okay, the eye itself, why Evas themselves, which are basically the big humanoid entity that the pilots enters into, themselves, they have very human-looking eyes. To defeat angels, you have to destroy a kind of red ball that looks like an eyeball. All of those has an actual meaning. They relate to some other works in art and general culture, and the hint is actually in episode 2. Okay, if you want to try to, yeah, exactly. Sales logo is welcome Stanley, welcome Natalie, by the way. But yeah, the Zele, I think it's pronounced Zele. Basically, its logo has a lot of eyes. Okay, the eyes here is something very interesting, and this is the kind of detail that you can not really study when you only think about the story. But Evangelion is not a novel, guys. Evangelion is an animation masterpiece. It was meant to be made into animation first. So animation is the source material. Animation is 24 first episode is the original. Everything of it comes and starts from there. So we have to study it as a work of animation. So yeah, next Friday I'm going to talk about Osamu Tezuka. Sadly, it's not going to be the part 2 of Evangelion because I need some time to prepare, and I also think it's good to give people more time to rewatch the entire series. Oh, don't worry. Next time we're definitely going to go through some important aspects, because there are things that you are just not meant to understand in Evangelion, and there are other stuff that don't have meaning at all, because in the mind of its own creator, he doesn't have those answers. He created this project without knowing an exact ending to it. So he built Evangelion over the span of this project. So it's not like a novel which has like some hidden secrets that you just misses. There's not that much to see in the universe itself and in the story building. And we're going to see why next time, when I'm going to be talking about the themes used in Evangelion and every stuff. The real life ending. If you're talking about, wait, how is it called? I think it's Neon Genesis Evangelion, another something. If you're talking about that, no, I have not. Because I actually, I mean, some people can consider it, and I think it's a good idea to consider that the real life ending. You mean like with real actors that looks a bit like the designs of Shin Godzilla or something? I think I've heard of it, but since my studies focus on Japanese animation, I have actually not seen it. Sorry, but I will definitely document myself on it and come back to you with some of my own thoughts next time on the next live. So yeah, so next week, guys, wait. So yeah, next week, the actual last. Oh, thank you so much, Nicola. Thank you for staying with me and watching this live through. It's really great of you for being such a great listener. Death Note movie with people. Oh, you mean the Netflix one, like with but yeah, basically next week, next Friday, we're going to talk about Osamu Tezuka and his influence, not in the manga industry but in the animation industry, and we're going to discuss the curse of Osamu Tezuka. And you did not hear that wrong, the curse of Osamu Tezuka, because his influence can be seen even to this day, and I think many people actually ignores it. So I would definitely recommend you coming and discuss it. If you're a fan of Astro Boy, you can come too, and we're going to talk about Astro Boy. So on these notes, see you next week. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.